when I took the break, I learned that one of the viewers of this live stream called my secretary and was very rude to her. He apparently had comments about the Brittany Shank homicide or missing person case and was unhappy that I shut the comments off and said it was illegal. And he was very rude to her, and I ended up, I think, hanging up on him. The Supreme Court directs us to shut the comments off. It takes 17 steps to do it. We are certainly aware of the missing person case on Brittany Shank. There's a podcast of some national notoriety about it. There's criticism, whether justified or not, of the quality of the investigation. I have not listened to the podcast. It's been recommended to me by a number of people, but I might have to hear the case at some point if they ever find what the deal is. So I purposely not listened to it. So anyway, I don't appreciate your abusing my staff. It's not illegal to shut off the comments. In fact, it's required. And you certainly have the right to follow the case from wherever you are, but I'm not supposed to know much about it. Anyway, let's talk about the case we are dealing with. This is in the matter of Tia.
I've got no red lights.
Oh, yes, thank you. Once upon a time, every time I was on the record, I had a recorder in here, but the world doesn't work that way anymore. In fact, back before you were born, I had a stenographic reporter in here, and he sat right here with a stenograph machine. So he was here whenever I was here before we were all videoed. Anyway, this is in the matter of Tia Jo Brooks versus Austin Brooks. It's a domestic assault. Miss Brooks is here with her lawyer, Mr. Ross Truckee. There were 2 counts. She pled to 1 count, and the matter was set for sentencing today. This defendant was very forthcoming. She's been working on her mental health, and we adjourned the case. For reasons other than this, I'm very familiar with this family. I had done a lot of work with Austin Brooks, and I'm very sad to hear that he's relapsed with his alcohol journey. And that's part of what the stressors are in this family. Anyway, she pled no contest to a domestic violence charge. Prosecution has no objection to a deferral, and I set the matter for sentencing today. I have not received any input from Austin Brooks. The prosecutor's not here. The victim advocate isn't here. So I guess I know what I know. Mr. Truckee, what would you like me to know?
Well, first, I'd say that Tia is like many mothers do. I think she's punted on her own well-being for about 20 years. And she's just finally this year, with some of these incidents, been able to realize that she needs to take care of Tia too, not just kids and husband. So I do think she's reforming herself already. I think the domestic violence deferral program will be another tool in her toolbox to kind of get through, break through some things that she needs to break through to get where she needs to get. This incident, I guess we don't, with the deferral program, I don't need to get into the facts of the incident, but you're familiar with Mr. Brooks and you're now familiar with Mrs. Brooks. And this was a situation where nobody was in the right, I would say, but Mrs. Brooks certainly recognizes she was in the wrong. So I'd ask the court to sentence to the deferral program. And I would like to ask that the no contact between the two be lifted. There's been a no contact order in place since this incident. Sought to have that lifted prior. And the prosecutor was not willing to agree to it at that time, but I would believe that a sufficient time has passed now that this married couple could reunite.
Normally, once the sentence is in place, we would lift the no contact unless the complainant asked to continue it.
Your Honor, I have no objection. I mean, my perspective on this case is Ms. Brooks been on the receiving end for years. She finally got her licks in this particular case. I have no problem with the deferral with the appropriate classes.
All right, very good. I think she's going to benefit from it. The reason I know a lot is because he was in that program for more than a year and your whole family got involved. You did as much as anyone ever had the program. You, your husband, your boys did a lot of family counseling, and he made great progress. He was employee of the year. Everything was much better. And as often happens when there's relapse, all the problems reoccur. And you were upset for reasons I won't go into here. But I don't disagree with what Ross said. That whole session was all about Austin. Austin, Austin, Austin. And this one's about Tia. You have voluntarily submitted yourself for hospitalization and treatment. You're taking this very seriously. And it is going to affect, someone stole your Kleenexes. Ross, would you take those back over to her? So let me ask you a couple of questions. Who's in the house?
Me and my daughter and my son.
Are there two boys?
My son Lucas moved out because of this.
Okay.
Because of,
How old is he now?
he's 19, because he was a part of the whole incident.
All right, where did he move to?
He lives in Constantine.
Where did Austin go?
He's at his dad's house.
All right, and you indicated he no longer works at Yoder's?
Because of this, he no longer works at Yoder's.
All right, and how old are the children that are with you?
5 and 16.
There's been no divorce filed?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Where does Austin work now?
He just recently, it's a
Meat cutter.
meat
Oh.
cutter.
It used to be the hog processing plant there.
Yeah.
out
Well,
on
he
County-
was in
County
the food-
Farm Road by Monty Board.
I was very proud of him, frankly. But it's all day, every day, one day at a time.
Yeah.
All right, what's your plan going forward?
I mean, I'm just gonna continue going to counseling. I got both of my son Noah and my daughter Karina in counseling as well, just because of all of this. We're planning on doing family counseling. I mean, I go to counseling twice a week, Your Honor. I see my caseworker every week and my therapist.
Your source of income?
Right now, I start a new job tomorrow.
I had 2 domestic violence cases yesterday, which were very discouraging. This one, I'm encouraged. You're doing everything that I probably would have ordered you to do preemptively. You had your reasons for being angry. This involved your whole family. You're working on your whole family. With this deferral, this charge can be taken off your record and made non-public. And the most important part in this process is the women's domestic violence program. I started the first domestic violence program when I was the prosecutor, a long time ago. And we didn't have one for women. And because most of the women were on the victim side. But we started one 30 or 35 years ago. And it has been very good, almost to a person. Every woman that ever went in the domestic violence, women's anger management, told me they thought it was wonderful. They were sorry when it was over. And many women who are charged with domestic violence are also victims of domestic violence. And so this class will help you come to terms with everything that is going on here. So you spent one night in jail?
Yeah.
11 days in jail, credit 1, leaving 10 days to serve. But all 10 of those days are deferred. You're not going to do any other jail time if you do what I ask you to do.
Okay, Your Honor.
All right, the fine is $0. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee. This is a 12-month probation, and you could actually do it in 6 months if you can complete everything.
Okay.
The probation oversight is $480, which will be cut in half if you do it in 6 months. You need to pay for the class. So let's add that up. $755 to in 1 year. Anger management. No assaultive or threatening behavior. No drugs and no alcohol. Test as directed if requested. Sign a release from treatment. I'd ask you to take that form downstairs to the probation department. Gotta get you plugged in on this. The no contact is lifted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you for your patience.
If you need to put in your own contact, do it.
Okay.
But all that means is you say no.
Okay.